I died and came across terror, personified. Posted by Kesby 1617. So, a bit of background on the cause of me writing this. I was in an accident that left in a comatose state for over 2 weeks. I was in bad condition and I flatlined 3 times over those 2 weeks. In total, I was dead for 3 minutes. However, my experience felt more like 3 hours. This is what happened to me when I was dead. When I woke up, I was in my hospital room. I didn't know it at the time, because all I saw were headlights, and then I woke up here. The thing is though is that I felt fine, just me in an empty hospital room. The thing is, however, was that it was quiet, and when I mean quiet, as in no sounds but my breathing. So I walk out of my room and see that no one is there, and immediately I knew something was wrong. I was in my hospital gown, so I went to see if there were any clothes I could wear. I found a nurse outfit and put them on. However, I had no shoes on as I couldn't find any. After putting those on, I decided to walk and see if anyone is here. I walked and walked, but not a soul was found. So at least I wanted to see outside, at least get a lay of the land. I walked and walked and walked, but no windows to look out of. No people, and not even a window to the outside. Now panic set in as I just wanted out. I tried every way I could. Up and down stairs, left, right and straight across so many corridors. I even came across the same place I woke up at a few times. I tried to make sense of everything that is going on. Maybe I'm just trapped in my own head. Maybe whatever it was hit me struck my head and it's just my imagination. So many conclusions, none of them answered the reason for my predicament. Finally I thought of the very last thing. Am I dead? This is the only thing that made sense, and it was true. I was dead, but trapped in a hospital. That didn't make sense. I thought the worst, but I knew I was a good person. Treated my wife and kids right, went to church and everything in between. Sure, I did some questionable stuff, but it couldn't be that bad. I mean, I'm a lawyer, for crying out loud. Then I heard a noise. I was in a hallway when I heard it. I looked at the direction of the noise and just barely caught the glimpse of a figure of some kind walking into a room. I chased it without thinking on the fact that this is a person. Why didn't they say something? I wasn't thinking and went after it, calling it out, and went into the room. The door immediately shut and I was in complete darkness. In the darkness I saw light and walked towards it. I reached it, but it was just a hospital bed. Nothing else but that. I was confused, so I turned around and a wall was there. Then I looked all around me, and then I was in a room with no door. I looked back at the bed and I saw what I could only describe as a living nightmare. It was tall, at least 10 feet. So tall it had to crouch down a bit. It was a tank collar, but it had no arms and skinny legs. It had feet on the front and back of where the heel should be. Then it looked at me, and it didn't even have a face. No eyes, no mouth, not even hair or ears, and when it turned to face me, it didn't even turn. It just twisted its head all the way around to look at me as its body remained unmoving. I was frozen in fear at the sight of this monstrosity. Of something was moving underneath its skin. Then someone screamed, and I looked back at the bed and an old woman was there. This thing, I don't know why, but it went after her instead of me. Then the skin ruptured and its chest opened up. I didn't see what she saw, but what I did see was these tentacles coming out of it. It was a thick mix of flesh, blood and bones in the shape of spikes. Blood was pouring out of its chest in gallons. Then I saw a door and I went for it. I looked back before leaving and its tentacles were tearing into her and it ripped her apart and ate her. My God, her screams. It was a mix of fear and pain beyond belief. Something I hope you never hear in your life. It then snapped its head towards me. All I could hear was one word. A very deep word. More. I was about to run and it screamed, all with a mix of voices as its face contorted as if it was opening its mouth, but nothing opened up on its face. It then bolted straight towards me as I just turned and ran. I ran and ran beyond anything I could do. My legs and lungs were hurting, but I refused to lose any amount of speed as it was chasing me, and it was fast. I could sense its heavy footsteps gaining on me, closing the distance as it got closer and closer. I swear I could feel its breath as I felt one of its tentacles touch my back. Then I was brought back. I woke up to doctors with defibrillators on my chest and my family and friends outside in the doorway watching the doctors. I was freaking out, screaming as I grabbed a chair and held it in front of me as I was just trying to survive mere seconds ago. After I collected myself, I just broke down crying, and I only stopped when my wife held me in her arms telling me it's okay. I calmed down some. Shaken but enough to be answering some questions. I told what happened to me. It was hard for me to say as I kept thinking about that thing. The doctors told me that when people are in comas, the brain is still active, just on low output. This could be me having a nightmare, and they said it so convincing that I believed them. I had to stay a few more hours to make sure I was completely fine, but I couldn't believe that it was just my head. It all felt too real. Even that creature felt real. Either way, I just wanted to be surrounded with people I knew. As I was getting to walk out, I walked past a room. In it was a family, and they were obviously mourning. However, it was who they were mourning that made my heart drop. It was that same old lady that I saw. That same old lady that got eviscerated. I was still walking, but I still couldn't believe it. The thing is that she looked peaceful. It looked like she even had a smile on her face. If only she knew what was waiting for her. It was then I realized that what I saw, that hospital that never ended, the featureless creature, the poor lady, it had to be real. No, it was real. After gaining the knowledge that I was dead from the right back home, I just froze. I truly was dead, and that is what is waiting for me when my time is up. If anything, it could be for anyone, as it didn't just hunt me, it hunted her. It's probably hunting someone right now. Some poor innocent soul being devoured could be happening as you're reading this. I refuse to accept that this is what is waiting for me. I can still sense it, feel it every time I look at a dark corner or hallway. I can feel its intent to eat my soul when I look at a meal. I can see lemon photos that are taken of me. I can see it watching me when I close my eyes to sleep, counting down the days when it's time to meet again. I'm so scared and terrified of that creature, and it knows it too.